Hi, back again with another, I guess not really an unboxing, but a first impressions or maybe even a second impressions. And I did something and I'm going to review something. You can probably see what it is. You can probably see in the title already what it is that I'm going to review and give you my impressions of. But first, this. I went through my back catalogue and I remembered every purchase that I've made. And I really don't think that I've made a purchase that was bad value for me. I'm a value investor in that I won't buy things that are cheap just because they're cheap. I'll buy them at a price point that I think is good value and that is fair. And therein lies my decision to purchase this, which is Club de Nuit. It's by Armaf, the Cologne Kings. Club de Nuit, and this one is Sillage. Okay, now, you may or may not know Armaf, the Cologne Kings. They do clones, which means that they copy more popular fragrances. And most notably, they copy fragrances from the house of Creed. Creed is a very famous house for making really, really exquisite and very, very popular and high quality fragrances. And they've been doing so for a long time. But before that, there were designers before that. And I hate using that term, but I'm going to use that term because that's what people understand. There were designers. So back in the day, you could buy, you could buy a fragrance from Yves Saint Laurent. You can buy a fragrance from Hubert de Givenchy. You could buy any of the Guerlain fragrances. You could buy Giorgio Armani, Gianni Versace. The list goes on. And they were creative. They had depth and there was thought behind a lot of their big hits and some of their not well-known hits as well that appealed to a smaller audience. But still, you expected some quality within that particular fragrance. You expected that some thought had gone into it, some blending had gone into it, thought into the bottle, into the name, and into the marketing campaign. But you never thought that you were being ripped off. At least I didn't think I was being ripped off anyway. Even at full retail, I really didn't think I was being ripped off because the fragrance was good. It was actually really good. It was great. Some of these I still wear, okay? So it astounds me that these days it's kind of normal to expect that quality at a price point that is way above what we would expect it to have paid for designers back in the day, even adjusted for inflation and everything else. So going through my back catalogue, I remember that the most expensive fragrance that I've ever purchased was $190, and that was only recently. And that was because it's a very special fragrance. And I was amazed that I got it at that price because that's not the price that they're going for currently. And I'll let you know what it is in an upcoming video. But the point I'm trying to make is fragrances these days can cost upwards of $500, sometimes over $1,000 for a bottle of fragrance. In my opinion, as a value investor, I really don't think that it's worth it. And what that does is it opens up the gap. It really does. It opens up a doorway for companies like Armaf to exist. Now, a lot of people say that Creed has been getting more and more expensive, and what they've been doing is, I guess, diluting their formula and not really putting as much effort into their newer creations. And therefore, people who copy them, and arguably sometimes who do a very, very good job at copying them at a tenth of the price, it doesn't take much intelligence to figure out that that is a winning formula for Armaf and a losing formula for Creed. I've read all the reviews about this. and I've even watched them on YouTube from others, and that's what made me buy it. I actually really adore Silver Mountain water. It's one of my favorite sort of scents. And the reason I say this is because every time I go and see a bottle of it, I have to try it out. I have to test it out. I have to put it on a tester strip. I have to test it on my skin. And all throughout that particular day, I'm catching whiffs of it in the air. And I'm like, damn, this is gorgeous. Damn, this is beautiful. But it's not worth $500. It isn't. It just isn't. I cannot justify it. Even if I was a billionaire, I wouldn't, I mean, given my background and how I've grown up, I still, even if I became a billionaire for, I don't know, lightning struck and I became a billionaire, I still wouldn't go for something that was poor value. And that is not good value. I just do not think that it's worth it to pay anything above $200 for a 100 ml bottle of fragrance. And that's in 2021 prices before the crazy inflation hits us because of some reserve banks printing money like crazy. I'm saying it right here and now. But let's move on to the fragrance itself and away from all this talk about value investing. But it is a point that I wanted to make, and I'm not trying to justify my purchase. I don't think I ever want to do that for anybody. I buy these fragrances for me, and I pay whatever I feel is a fair price or a good value for them. And I'll talk more about the value of fragrances in another video with a bit more thought put into it rather than just speaking off the cuff like this. So let's have a look at the box, which I do take issue with because I don't like the stupid rhinestone that they have here. This little plastic bit here, because in a box with other boxes of Armaf fragrances, they put a dent in the back of the box just around here. Small gripe. Anyway, I'm not a fan of the gaudy, and I don't like glitter anywhere near me. We open it up, we find the customary sort of embossed. They are making an effort, but it's not a classy effort, I must say. This thing is a bit flimsy, and because of the actual rhinestones, it's actually scratched the inside of the rhinestones on the lid. And this bottle, of course, is a fingerprint magnet, as you can see, as you have seen, and I've just ruined my hoodie. Great, thanks a lot, rhinestones. Okay, so there it is. There's the bottle. You can see through it in these little gaps. The juice is sort of greeny yellow colored, and the atomizer is black. I have no idea why the atomizer is black. They could have made it silver. It would have looked nicer. Just my opinion. Damn. Why? Why have they made it like this? I don't understand. Freaking hell. Here. Terrible atomizer, by the way. Annoyingly good, and right off the bat, it's not like Creed. Right off the bat, the first few minutes, you're struggling to get used to the harshness in here. It's not as smooth. Like Creed comes on, and you're like, wow, just wow, and then it just keeps on giving. But not as long as this does. This gives more. I actually opened this up because I couldn't wait. I opened it up last night, and I made the mistake of spraying it on my arm. Same spot. Some of it caught the jumper I was wearing. It's still radiating off there. It's not called Sillage for no reason. This has Sillage. Probably because it's got ambroxan in it. But off the bat, you get citrus, you get like a lemon in here, which is actually quite realistic. And it's a young lemon. It's a lemon that has just gone yellow. From the green, it's just gone yellow. It's still hard. The juices are still hard. It's not a fully ripened lemon that's in here, but it's driving what's coming in the background here, which is that metallic sort of vibe that I'm getting from the fragrance. On skin, it's heaps better than just smelling it out of the cap, because out of the cap, it actually smells, I don't know what the word for this is, but it actually smells saliva-ish. It's got like this spit sort of flavor. I don't want to do it any injustice by saying stuff like that, but some fragrances just smell like that. I know my Versace Mano Fresh, if you smell the cap or the atomizer itself, it smells like toe jam or something like that. And that's probably because of the star fruit sort of not really, you know, permeating or mixing well with whatever the material is in the cap. But this one has that, I don't know, chewed bubble gum kind of, with spit and all that kind of shit. So yeah, it's really not that great in the cap, but off the skin. Off skin and on clothes, it is marvelous. It's phenomenal. Is it better than Creed? If we take it on a holistic level, yeah, it's heaps better than the Creed. You know why? Because the Creed costs $500 a bottle, and this doesn't. It's like a ninth of the price. That's how much I got it for anyway. But some places you can get it at a tenth of the price. So a tenth of the price, you can get 10 bottles of this, or you can get 1 bottle of Creed. And this has better longevity. It has more citrus rather than more floral in the Silver Mountain Water. That said though, you can, if you do an arm by arm comparison, which I think I will do probably next week, I'm probably certain that I'll be able to tell the difference if I bury my nose in. But in the air, when someone's walking by, you just can't. And kudos to Armaf. You've done it. You've done a really good job. Congratulations to you. You know you had a customer in me already. But beware, Armaf aren't always that great, right? 95% of their catalog is utter shite. You have your first Armaf, which is the Club de Nuit Intense Man. That was the first popular one, which sort of cloned Creed's Aventus. You had the other one, Très Nuit, which cloned Green Irish Tweed, again from Creed. Does a great job. The Aventus clone was pretty good, and I thought better than Aventus because I like the smokiness more than I do the pineapple. I don't really care about pineapple, but I do like to smell like smoke, something on fire. And the other one, which was Creed's Milestone, which was a clone of another Creed fragrance, Armaf's Club de Nuit Milestone, which was a clone of Creed's Millésime Impérial. And now they've got Sillage. So there's four really good fragrances from Armaf. The rest of them are all garbage. I do know that they clone, they do a half decent clone of Bleu de Chanel, which I don't really care about because I don't have Bleu de Chanel, and I don't have any Chanel fragrances, as a matter of fact, because I'll get into this in more depth, but Chanel is sort of death by mediocrity. So that's all I can say about Chanel right now. And I don't think I'll ever get into a Chanel fragrance because they just don't do it for me. And I'll probably get into it in more depth. Look, I don't own, but I have had and I have used number 5 and my favorite Chanel of all time, which is the Coromandel EDT Concentré and the original Coco Mademoiselle Eau de Parfum and Gardenia. So those are the 3 Chanel fragrances that I think are worthwhile owning. Anything else, I don't really consider it worthwhile owning. That's all I'm going to say. And it's just my personal opinion on that. Yeah. So I'll get into that probably in another video in more detail. But this one's about Armaf Sillage and all the issues that are associated with it. Unfortunately, it's always going to be tainted with this conversation in that, yes, you've done a great job. You've done a really, really great job at copying something that was really awesome. Good on you. But can you be original? Can you be original and be just as good? And will you be as popular? Have you shot yourself in the foot right now? Is this the pinnacle? Is this the pinnacle of your brand and your company? Because where to from here? If you're actually doing a better job at being Creed than Creed is, and what will become of you when you take Creed down? Are you going to be original enough to come up with something of your own that is better than this? A question yet to be answered. A question yet to be answered. But until it does get answered, you can enjoy this. I know it's kind of hard to get in my part of the world, but I did get it. I waited like a month and a half for this thing to be delivered. I was very patient, and it came, and I certainly was not disappointed, and I have not been disappointed these last 2 days that I've been wearing it. The first impression was not that good, but then it just kept on developing, and it kept on developing, and it's just blown me away completely. So, yeah. What else can I say other than thanks for watching?